All right, welcome to the spoiler section. If you like supporting our show, we've got a Patreon. We've got the YouTube join button here. We'd appreciate your support. We also have some badass merch in the links below. So let's jump right in. Script doctors. We haven't done script doctors in a long time. I need to make a new graphic for it, Alex. But I think that the way we're introduced to this world, here's how it goes. We get a flash forward scene where he falls. He's falling in the sky. It's like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? And he slams into a pole, and then somebody slams on top of him, and they're all equipped with military equipment and shit. It's just chaos. It's like, what the hell's going on? It's a war. And then it kind of goes into present day.
Yeah, it's like
28 years later, and it's like, wait, why aren't they using CGI on his face? What is going on? How is he still that old? Oh, it's a time. Okay, time thing is going on here. And, and they jump to a soccer game. Who likes soccer?
That's the most unbelievable thing about this movie is a bunch of Americans are watching the World Cup.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was like, that's not happening. Anyways, the future needs, even though we just got our own soccer team, pro soccer team here in Austin, the FC.
The tickets are so
expensive. The fuck does that even mean? It's football club is what it is. Yeah. Anyways. Future needs past soldiers to fight the future war. So a gate opens up while some poor sap was about to score the winning goal, and I said, God damn it, just kick the ball anyway. hit one of the soldiers that come through. I thought it was aliens gonna come through, but no, it's soldiers. And I thought I was like, oh, the aliens are human soldiers, and it's gonna be like Cobra. Come in, this is gonna be awesome. But they were like, no. Lady says, hey, we're from the future. We need y'all to recruit, and the believability is just, smashed out the way. It's just thrown out the window. But I like it. They start a world draft, and they send a few soldiers first. They all get obliterated, and they're like, okay, we need more men. Let's just start recruiting civilians as well. And they have a half-assed, weak explanation on that. They were like, you're approved to go. We see Chris Pratt is approved to go. They put him in this machine. His little phone rings while he's doing a class. You have been recruited. He goes, what's going on? And they test him. I guess, he has died in the future.
Yeah.
7 years he will die, and they only send dead people?
Yeah.
People who will not have been alive at that time.
In order to avoid a paradox effect. But that's bullshit, because the end of the film, the end of the film makes no sense then, because you have a reverse paradox. I'm going to jump way ahead and say, okay, they win, obviously. And then, so the portal closes and they cannot go back to the future, but they left behind future people, these younger people that were training and knew how to do the technology and send people back and forth. Well, those people are eventually going to be born in this world, I guess, unless the government tells them you can't have sex and you can't, do that and this. So then the little babies are going to be born, and then they're going to grow up, and you're going to have doubles of that particular person. You see what I'm saying? That's a reverse paradox, and if they meet and they see it, then what the fuck? So it doesn't make any sense. So there's your plot hole number one. I had to jump way to the end to get to that one. But okay, so let's go a little bit back in time. So we're in a classroom, Alex, and you think, oh, well, this isn't relevant. It's just showing, hey, he's got a job. He cares about kids, cares about the current world. Yeah. Let's do some science stuff. He sees everybody is really depressed. Because
there's a future war and humanity's about to be wiped out.
Why does any of this matter?
Yeah, and so everyone's real lethargic.
But then...
And so he talks to a kid. He's like, hey, kids, does anyone want to talk about anything? And one kid raises his hand. He's like, anyone? And so clearly he's trying to stifle the curiosity of this young man. And so Chris Pratt is a terrible father, student, teacher, and soldier in this movie. And so he's like, nah, fine, fuck. I don't want to listen to you talk about volcanoes anymore, you fucking dweeb.
Come on, Alex. You ran into people like that all the time when you play Magic. I'm sure.
I don't.
But you just don't want to hear from them. God damn it!
No. He's a science teacher. If the kid wants to talk about science, you let the kid talk about science. When I'm playing Magic, I'm not required to talk to you. There's a difference. And so he's like, no, I don't want to hear about your detailed graphs and drafting materials that you've done of all these ancient volcanoes and super volcanoes.
Volcanoes.
And then it's just like, okay, this is terrible.
I thought it was a side joke. No, that is the only way this film works. Towards the end, and that's the only way they survive. How do they tie that in? Does that sound stupid to you? It fucking does.
Oh, it gets
sound
worse.
Stupid. It gets way worse than that. But we'll move on. So, he gets called in, he gets recruited, and it's just crazy that. They say, oh, don't tamper with the device or there'll be consequences. We'll send your fucking wife. We'll send your fucking dog in your place. They don't give a shit. They're just threatening. He says goodbye to his daughter. First he goes to his dad for help. He wants to get the device off. And apparently his dad is this tech genius, knows how to do all these different things, doesn't like the government. His dad, and it's shown, his dad has a bunch of them in the fridge. He's done
it before.
You came to the right person, blah, blah, blah. And they start talking, and he's like, I wish you were there, blah, blah, blah. And clearly the relationship is strained, frayed, and he doesn't really want to be there. And basically, he's like, he calls his dad a coward for just never being there for him. And he's like, you know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a coward like you. Essentially, they have a different conversation, but I'm like, wait, what? Take the thing off, though. You could take the thing off and still call him a coward, but no, he's not a quitter, so he's gonna go die in a fucking war. That's a dumb reason, but okay. So he decides to go die in a war, die like a man. Okay, and then he says goodbye to his daughter, and they have a nice scene where she's like, his daughter's not dumb, and she's like, "You've been recruited, haven't you?" And he's like, "Yeah," and she's sad and crying, and he says goodbye, and then they go into
training. Like, here's your gun. Get ready for war.
Hilariously stupid to wear like business suit. And then I didn't understand. I looked away for 1 second. I don't know. I was eating some popcorn, and I was like, wait, what just happened? Because they left their business clothes on, they left their graphic tees on, some of them had military outfits, and some of them were. I was like, why are they doing that? And Alex is like, I don't know. Were you paying attention?
I was paying attention the whole time.
She was talking, and she never really directly referenced why.
Yeah.
It was like, well, I guess we have no time or something. No, they had time because they were still about to
They're in the past.
Doesn't make no fucking sense.
There's a dude in a chef's hat and a chef's uniform with an assault rifle, and they beam him into the future, and it's stupid.
I think that was just for the visuals of it, and they thought it would be funny to do.
So, well, yeah, because he's like, well, that guy's wearing a chef hat.
And so, like, when I'm making my movies, when I'm 20 years old, and in my head I was envisioning everybody in their clothes because it's like, hey, this is just the clothes. But if you're in a military complex with military gear, and this is your last fucking hope, you want to send your soldiers the best equipped that you can with the best fucking equipment from this fucking... But no, they're sending them with fucking chef's hats
show up with
and
Jinkos.
chef's outfits and Jinkos.
How far in the past are they recruiting from, man?
So that was funny, and then to see them in combat, I was looking to see if anybody was wearing like high heels, because some of the ladies are completely wearing their business suits, but then all of a sudden they have combat boots. If you notice, so it's like, okay, why didn't you just give them gear? Clearly, you have enough. Anyways. So they talk about, oh, we're going to train you, we're going to do this, but then, they don't have time. It's like, we're going to war. Recon, we're going to war with Starship Troopers. It's okay, let's go. And so they all go into a single room, and they're all, they've learned a basic stance of gun while they're being beamed out. And so everybody gets beamed out, and they're, people are screaming like they're dying.
He doesn't know how to load it. He doesn't know where his safety is. He doesn't know what a magazine is. They didn't train anybody.
Yeah, so it's fucking stupid is the right word, sorry. Doesn't make any goddamn sense that they don't do any of that. But it's just, I guess, for that visual to maintain the, hey, I just want regular people fighting, and it increases the
There was so much running. These regular people would not like. I hate it. I was like, nope, I can't run.
But here's what you do. You can have that, and I could have that, because that's the way I would have written it. It's like, look, these are regular fucking people. This guy's a farmer. This guy's a doctor. This guy's a chef, and we have to fucking fight these aliens now. You know what I'm saying? But there's a way to do it in writing, and here's how you do it. Script doctor segment, go. Boom. Script doctors. If I don't have the graphic yet, just forgive me. So instead of starting with that tiny little time clip with the pool, and then going back in time, and then doing it again where they're all beamed in, and something was wrong with the system,
They're like falling.
and they're falling, and this is graphic, man, because fucking people are slamming and bleeding, and then another guy hits a bunch of buildings because they fall from probably like 80 stories up. I don't know, but a few of them fall into the pool, and it just so happens that there are characters, and all of the main characters that he met were. That's actually kind of what happens if you look at the visual. It looks like he would have hit the side, right? But no, all of our characters are in there. Anyway, and then we begin the film. But if you instead, and then when we begin the film, they go in to the building. They immediately look around, and this whole place is fucking destroyed, and it's like, oh my God, this is helpless, it's crazy. But I was like fucking hyped. I was like, let's go to war, let's go. And they immediately give them a mission to rescue a scientist team. So then they go down in the building, and they're all doing, clearing fucking rooms like they're trained SWAT teams, and they've done this before kind of thing. And I was thinking at this moment, this is a perfect way to start the film. Right, I mean, so that you get this, and then later on you do flashbacks. Well, why are the bad shots, or why are they not, more effectively attacking? And then you show all this other stuff rather than doing it from that angle. So I think that would have helped the believability that they're forced into this situation, and you're just following them from that moment, and then you get an explanation later. You don't start from them not knowing how to load a gun to then going into the war, you go, they're not quite effective. Oh, they were forced into the situation.
Yeah, well, contextually, it makes no goddamn sense because they know they're getting drafted. They have several days to prep for being drafted. And again, you could have just sent a different squad. They set everything up, but it's written so stupidly. And I'm going to keep using that word. Because it's stupid. And they keep making their own problems that don't make any sense or add tension or build a world or do anything. It's just like you wrote it like an idiot.
Here's a big example of it, right? Were they put into squads? Did you catch this?
No, there are no squads.
Right. This doesn't make any fucking sense. And then when they immediately get there, they're in squads, right? It was one squad he's been in tours. He's been several times to kill aliens, and he even has a alien trophy, which is this huge claw. And his team is really fucking elite. They're like, and one guy turns around, the talkative comedy relief guy of the film turns around. It's like, you look like a murderer. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm talkative. That kind of stuff.
That guy's not the squad leader.
And it's like they don't fucking make him the squad leader, or they don't say this is your squad. Okay, Chris Pratt, who is the only one with military experience and is literally helping people on the line before they're is not recruited to lead a squad, but yet somehow, because he was first to answer his earpiece when they're like, hey, can y'all hear me? Did y'all make it through the time warp thing? Yeah, I hear you. All of a sudden he's a squad leader and everybody follows him. Yeah. It's just not, where was the forethought, the writing? No. It crumbles under critical thought. So anyway, let's just pretend that they become at least disciplined enough to pretend to be, clearing rooms and shit. Mm-hmm. So they go to the scientists who have all been fucking murdered in a gross way.
They're like, husks and they've been sucked dry. It's pretty cool looking.
Fucking, it's cool.
Visuals are really great in this movie.
Good. And I'm like, oh shit. And they purposefully hide the monsters too.
Yeah.
You can't really fucking see them.
It's a great surprise.
Great surprise. And then, they're like, oh shit, this turns from an extraction from a rescue to an extraction. They got to get vials, they got to get science.
12 doodads are the most important things because these 12 doodads are how they're going to make the other thing that comes later.
Right. But they send in this team of. Okay, I'll stop. Anyways.
Well, not only that, then we got idiot guy who doesn't know what he's doing, who has the fate of humanity in 12 vials, and he's constantly trying to save Chef's Hat dude and Big Beer guy and other idiot. And he's like, we don't leave people behind. It's like, motherfucker, fate of humanity is in those 12 vials. If you die,
this is real.
Because there's bombs in the air on the way to come to the ground. It is so fucking stupid. This movie is so fucking stupid.
He's not done with the stupids because this team, we realized that there are 500,000 people left in this future version.
That's it.
And they're all militarized. They are all hard fucking fighters because they've been fighting this whole fucking time. Did they send any of those guys? No, it's let's take our militia. No, not even militia. They are a magnitude below militia. Is that militia forming at the center? You know, and they expect them to win. It worked in the Patriot, but it doesn't work here.
No.
Like I wanted to see a squad
because as Alex
kind of
says,
fumbling, like didn't know what they were doing, but everyone kind of looked like they were professionals. Like,
yeah, once the aliens are seen, you see, the first time they encounter them, they think they're downstairs, but they're actually upstairs, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then a massively awesome fucking action scene. I loved it because it was real tight. And they were coming down. They were fast and just I love the sound, the reverberation of it. Just this is fucking what I watch movies for. And people are getting killed left and right, and they're fucking retreating, and they realize they can kill them, but they need to get at their bellies. They take a lot of shots. The aliens are smart enough sometimes to even use their backs in order to block bullets, and then they have fucking pincers that fire thorns and shit. It was fucking amazing. And then they get on the street and they're like, okay, we got to extract you or we're going to drop bombs, so you have to hurry. And they've got these fucking badass F-22 Raptors and shit. But they're dropping bombs, not danger close. They're dropping bombs, you are the target. Because they wouldn't do that.
But there's no reason to drop bombs at all.
Well, yeah, you got to kill the monsters. I mean, they're right
the
on
whole
the
world is overrun with monsters.
Yeah, but they need to get this team out of here.
Yeah, so the bombs are more of a threat to the team.
Yes.
Had you just...
I see.
This movie is stupid.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so then they
cool
drop...
These vials are the most important things on Earth. The entire fate of humanity is on these vials. We're going to bomb them. But why? I don't know.
We have a few scenes with the soccer mom and the beer gut dude, and he's like, the beer gut guy can't jump across these things that they're trying to run from the monsters, and he falls through, snaps his leg, and then the mom helps him, and then Chris Pratt is like, okay, I'm going to help too, or whatever.
All the elite soldiers died to this, except for one guy. Half the squad dies trying to save this one guy.
Exactly. More people come down, and they're getting knocked by the thorns, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Let's get the fuck out of here. That's kind of what militia are good for. Dying and being a shield for us to do.
Man, it remind you about the MacGuffin in your pocket. We really need this thing.
Yeah. So then finally they do the stupid thing where they drop the bombs and then the explosion happens right at their back and they're like, whoa. I love it. The Michael Bay moment, kind of Transformers thing.
Yeah.
Whew.
That's just the opening part, too. We have so much more to go.
Oh, and I just ran. I don't want this to be 3 hours because we could do 15 different plot holes and shit. But anyway, so then the next scene, they're all in a camp in the Dominican Republic, I think, a little island, so they're somewhat protected, and everybody they're just talking about what they need to do, and the colonel who was on the comms, he gets to meet and he realizes, holy shit. You have the same last name as me. Oh, that's cool. Anyway, how did you spell it? Cool. You dumb fuck, this is your daughter. He doesn't immediately go to hug her. He's like, yeah. And she doesn't even want to be hugged.
I thought time cop rules applied. The whole touching? Time paragraph. I was saying, nope, not at all. No. It was just, she's like, I just don't want to hug you.
I don't want to hug you because you're my dad and I miss you.
You're a piece of shit. You abandoned me like your father before. You were trying to set up this whole subplot thing that went nowhere and it's stupid.
So they got a big subplot because she doesn't want to tell him then. He wants to know, how did he die, all this other thing. She didn't tell him then. It's only till later that they reveal that, and they drag that all the way out to the end of the first film.
Well, they needed their alone time.
Yeah, their alone time. So, and then we go, so...
this is where, right after this, they go capture the queen, because the queen is immune to the toxins.
Yes. Let's say female, right? Because they never use the word queen. Yeah. I think they should have used the word queen. Again, script doctor would have made it a little better. So we found a queen, but no, we found a female. I was like, I don't give a fuck. There's, 17,000 different types of females. But it still works because if we get the female, she's resistant, and we need to find out why she's resistant to some of these weapons you're using, and that tells us how to kill her. Yep. Fine. Great plan. Script doctor worked. Okay. So we go out. We get a female, but I guess they've already cornered a female in this weird underground triangle cave. I don't know how she ended up there,
yeah.
but it's a cool set piece.
Yeah.
They go over there with a helicopter. They have a bunch of people trying to, muscle this fucking thing that's stronger than a goddamn elephant.
You need a lot more people.
You need a lot more people. That's another plot that didn't make any fucking sense. And so,
We just get fired.
and then later on, I was so pissed off because I was like, okay, I guess they don't know how to sedate it or they can't sedate it. But then later on, they sedate it. I'm like,
That's what I was thinking.
well,
I
they're
was like,
fucking sedated in the
yes,
first fucking place.
start-
Bring goddamn
yes.
elephant guns with goddamn fucking.
Shoot her.
It would have made that fucking scene. But you see how it's like just written to because we need the next action scene. But the action scene was good. Stupid, but good. Because you got, okay, so then the queen is taking them over and beating them up and coming through. And she runs through and does the surprises. I'm glad this film wasn't in 3D and shit. But anyway, so then the daughter's like, stay here in the helicopter. And then she goes down, like the colonel, the one who's like the scientist.
The leader of humanity.
The leader of humanity who you need for the serum, but okay. So she comes down and she does the thing, and then they even overpower her. And then he notices, because this queen is yelling and screaming the entire time, he notices birds are flying in the background, and I was like, this is fucking cool, here we go. And it's a big old wave of fucking, everybody's, I was like, oh, great action scene. I was like, oh, fuck. And then he goes into the hole, and she's like, I told you, stay out of the hole. And he's like, shut the fuck. He's like helping. They eventually do get the queen in there because they basically fist fight it or something.
They could have done it way easier, but whatever.
He weakened the queen. He made the queen shoot itself with a spike.
Okay.
And, you know,
Yeah.
and
Thank
then-
you.
yeah.
I
so-
forgot the details. He did grab a tentacle and all this other stuff. So
Yeah.
she got in there. Device closes, and they burst her out just in time because all these fucking things are overrunning. Out of the coolest fucking thing, they're like, they're about to jump on the queen, and then these fucking badass pilots, the goddamn MVPs of the
Chopping 'em
film,
up, yeah.
are like, fuck it, and all these ones that jumped off, they chop them all up with a helicopter blade, and I'm like, that was a fucking badass move, but you're going down, and it goes down.
Cool action.
And it was cool action scene because then the daughter and Chris Pratt pops up, and they're like, fuck, we gotta go. They get in a fucking, they're running while the helicopter is falling, while all this shit is, I was like, this
Going
is
back and forth.
intense. You could see the budget on the screen, and I was
Yeah.
very entertained. And then she does the da-da-da-da-da, and then they run, and a bunch of males are following them, and all of us, and finally they get to a beach. Whew, I guess they all stop chasing her because the helicopter's going that way, and maybe all the people try to, follow the helicopter, and they couldn't follow, or all the aliens. She goes on the beach. First thing she says, I told you to stay. I was like, shut the fuck up. You know
A lot
what I
of
mean?
forced
A little forced
Yeah.
conflict, right? Anyways, contrived reason why she's staying mad. But actually, if you look deeper, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. That's probably wasn't the reason. The reason was that he left her, and she just has built up anger. So that's when she tells him, "Well, you left us.
You're a deadbeat dad.
You're a deadbeat dad. You left us, and then you
died
got
in
into a
a
car
car
crash,
crash.
and you fucking died." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's kind of anticlimactic. I
that's
thought it was
fun.
something different, but no, he's just a piece of shit, I guess." So. Then they go to the Deep Swell base where there's 15 different flags of all the different nations that put all their technology in. It was fucking badass. It's like they've got walls and shit, and I was like, why are there fucking walls in the fucking ocean? It didn't make any sense. I was like, oh, now later on you knew why there were walls.
They can swim.
Almost as if they
Yeah.
knew in the writing what was going to happen. They can swim. And I was like, because I was thinking, they were using a cruise liner and a few, broken ships here and there. And I was like, where are all the destroyers and the aircraft carriers? That would be genius. And they're all waiting there in the row, like, as enforcement. And I was like, that's fucking sweet. Anyways, and then we see the mother sedated, or the queen sedated. I'm like, if they could fucking do that, why didn't they do that before?
Because why?
It is
We need
explained.
that scene.
It is explained. We'll go to the Last of Us 2 fans. It is explained. Science testing. She uses science to try to figure out how they're coping with the toxin. She gets a few results back that look promising, and she's just trying to increase the percentage of this new dosage so that it can work. And but my question, and then he's like, and they talk, and they're kind of reconnecting a little bit, and she's like, when what next Sunday is, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm go back after a week. I was like, why do they go back after a week? Why? Oh, okay. No reason. They just go back after a week immediately, automatically.
You only drafted for 1 week.
Yeah. That didn't make any sense.
I don't know.
And then another thing that didn't make sense is like the future of the human race is a one-person job. She's like, this is a one-person job anyway. No, it isn't.
She doesn't want help.
And then the queen starts moving around, and they look at it, and they're like, oh, it's fine. You know what I mean? I was like, where the fuck is all the security? There should be people in there giving him the hourly doses.
Yeah, because she says, oh, it's an hourly dosage. I was like, okay, put a fucking timer. This is very important.
Yeah, you're telling me multiple governments with all those different flags didn't provide any scientists or anything to help bomb the dose? No?
Nope,
it's just her? No, that doesn't make any sense. So she will give him the thing, and she tells him, I'm going to give you the thing, and you're going to go back in time and save the past rather than save my future. Because we're not going to make it. And he's like, no, I won't do it. I want to save you. And it's like, but
idiot.
If you save her, then you... Well, I guess you can have it both ways. That's probably why it was doing that. But I was thinking to myself, I'm like...
that's his daughter. He's like, look, I'm going to do everything I can in my power to save my daughter. I was like, I get it, but
okay, the emotional connection between father and daughter is what they were trying to say.
Exactly.
But I was saying, if he saves her in his time... then she doesn't have to suffer through everything that she suffered through. So it doesn't make sense to me.
But he's there, and
he's not smart. I guess he doesn't understand.
And he's stupid.
That she's pained, and that this time is fucking doomed.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so he's like, no, fuck it. I'm gonna make this our reality, just so as long as you live, kind of thing. But no, not really. I guess you can have it both ways. You could do the dose in that future, and then you could do the dose in here. Oh no, I was realizing if you're gonna take it back and you give it to them, then you literally eradicate that future. She does not exist. Go,
yeah, it's gone.
So it doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it's stupid.
Okay. Anyways.
You don't get it, Alex.
I know.
So then as they're doing the dosage, and right when they hit 100% dosage, I'm like, okay, yeah, the movie writing. And so then you have all the monsters swimming, and because she starts screaming again, and he's like, we got to kill it. And I was like, yes, good idea. And she goes, no. And then they fucking leave, and then it immediately breaks out.
Yep.
What? So that we can have this little stocking thing. The female stocks them, right, around these little containers and then they're like, yeah. And then they fight there. And this is another badass scene. I fucking like it. And then they break the fucking pipe, and then flames, and she gets flamed. The queen, and queen gets mad. It's like, I'm gonna kill you in particular.
Yeah.
And
tortured me, bitch.
Yeah. And then she hits her, and then the queen hits her with one of the thorns, and and then she falls down. And then Chris is like, no. And then it's just fucking everything starts. Gunfire everywhere, monsters everywhere, little drones come out. I was like,
that was cool.
This is fucking amazing. I love it.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah, and then an ocean liner comes, and it's crawling, which I'm like, it's like little fucking ants on him, and it slams into the control center, and fucking shit blows up, and I'm like, well, he ain't going back in time, because I thought the little spinny thing, because they keep showing this little spinny thing on one of the buildings in the thing. I'm like, why are we? He sits down, it's like, we can wait, and I'm like, get your fucking ass up and go, because I thought they needed to get to the helicopter so you can go to the thing and then be teleported, but no, it's an auto teleport. We realize later. So anyway, his daughter's sitting there with the fucking thorn, and she's like, oh, she's dying. And he's like, no, I'm not going to. We'll sit here for a while, he says. And then they talk. She says, I'm sorry. I got mad with you. And that she's glad to see him again after he died. So you have that scene. Now.
The good version of his dad.
Yeah, what was that movie we watched where there was no emotional impact? Forgot what it was.
Oh, yeah. It's called Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead, right? Here,
yes.
It's done better.
Yeah.
To
Much
where
better.
there is a little bit, but not to the degree that the film thinks you're being affected, but there's a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that's due to the better acting, Chris Pratt.
The emotional high point of the movie, and this should be the emotional climax of the movie. They're kind of slowly resolving things, and the movie should end in about 5 minutes from that point.
It feels good.
And
it feels great.
But then the movie restarted and started over for another 30 minutes.
But wait wait, we're not even done with this one.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Then the queen looks up. The queen, ooh, and then oh shit, and then the queen grabs, and then the whole thing. But just as the queen was about to grab them, the whole thing falls apart, and then she slides down, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna let you die. And then I thought she was gonna just let her hand go, because she's like, get out of here, kind of thing. But no, he didn't need to get to the helicopter, so he just legitimately dropped his daughter, and then
into a giant pile of.
And then they do this cool slow-mo where the fucking queen is falling and she's falling behind, and all the males are coming up to try to save the queen. And then he's like, fuck it, and he wants to try to somehow save his daughter.
He's also got a case of the dumbs.
He's a little stupid.
Yeah.
But it's the fatherly instinct,
Yes.
I guess, to murder yourself to try to save her. But you have
To murder
nothing.
all of humanity in both
He'll
timelines
use his
because he's
secret
an idiot.
jetpack.
Yeah.
No, he gets teleported into time just that instant, and that time is done. It's done. There's no way to go back to that
Lost.
time. They all fall. Some of the people come through with fucking ripped arms and screaming and stuff, and then other people are fine. And he's like, "Oh, you made it." To the funny talkative guy, he's like, "Yeah, I made it." Or says
I
one
hid.
word.
I hid.
Oh, I hid. And
And
then
he's
crying
really upset that he was a coward.
that he didn't fight. And that, so it's like, okay. And then he's got the vial, and they're like, we tried to take that from you, and you just was holding on. We couldn't get it from you. And he's like, okay, you're going to mass produce this, and we're going to take care of the aliens when they come. And then they kind of like ignore him, and that's it.
And he goes home and he hugs
then
his
he goes
daughter,
home.
and you think the movie's gonna end, and they're gonna like let you be
Mass produce, and then they were just going to mass produce the thing, but no.
They didn't, and then the movie starts over again.
And then the sequel starts playing. So what's the sequel?
The sequel is we need to find out where they're located. 'cause
No,
they
first.
came out-
No, wait. I wanted really fucking stupid is that he goes home. His daughter's waiting for him. They have their little scene. The wife comes up with a theory. What's the theory?
That maybe they were here not when they first attacked, but because we don't know where the aliens ever landed, because they attacked in Russia first, but we don't know where they came from. And this lady, and I'm sure she's very smart and very lovely, and I'm sure she's a wonderful wife. This fucking woman is the only person on Earth for 28 years that thought that maybe the aliens didn't just crash land and then immediately attack.
They have contact with the goddamn future, and the future knows where the first attacks were happening in Russia. They've said it 1,000 times in the film, and nobody bothers to go looking
Investigate
in Russia
or
in the
figure it
area
out
or
or do any
anything
of this
like
other
that.
Because humans are being human, being piece of shit. They're fighting with each other now.
She says maybe they've already been here. What? And he's like, oh, I'm going to steal that. I'm the one that came up with the idea. And
funny.
I guess, what are they, dinosaurs? And or they're just implying that the aliens crashed a long time ago. Kind of both until the later reveal. And so then they go to meet... they go to meet a badass soldier guy. Yeah, and they use it. This is fucking crazy because like once they got the vial from him, we should have had a completely different scene, right? But no, he goes home and he has all these different team ups with all the people we met in the other film for not very long. So he goes and meets the badass guy, uses the claw, and takes it to the too smart talkative guy, who apparently can discover that the claw has ash on it. So
Volcanic ash.
volcanic ash. The first time they said, this is ash, volcanic ash, I was like, oh.
We gotta go see Martin.
So then they go on a goddamn field trip to the goddamn school class, and they ask this kid, okay, this is the most important question ever, and I wish I was you, and how does the ash get from from China to the Russia? And he's like, oh, well, a long time ago the fucking thing exploded and you got shattered everything. Oh, so it's always been there, and it's buried under ice and it's preserved. And so then they go to the military. They're like, check all this shit out. And the military's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
The military's like, I don't give a fucking shit.
Yeah, because Russia closes borders. We're like in war with everyone, so no, I gotta deal with this shit now.
And somehow the toxin has been ignored the entire time. They don't take it from him because he's the one that has it. Him and his little team of fucking school bus scientists and school bus drivers and shit have the fucking toxin that they brought from the future, which makes no fucking sense. So again, huge blot holes
They won't
that you can
use
drive
it, so
through
it doesn't
trucks through.
matter.
So it goes to his dad. He's like, who the fuck could drive he's like, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. And who could drive us there or fly us there? And he goes, aha, our Jack Grandpa.
Jack Grandpa said earlier
yeah.
that he has a C-130, and so
he hates
remember
the government.
Yeah,
so
remember when
he's
he
incognito.
remember when he said he had a C-130 that one time? It was really important because we didn't
Every
have.
little thing that was
Oh
said.
my God, it's terrible.
And then they go on jet skis. So Owen Wilson shows up, and there's 8 jet skis. No,
These
but-
snowmobiles.
8. I know. I'm just kidding. There's 8 snowmobiles, and they have an ice adventure. Apparently, the C-130 comes with 8 snowmobiles just equipped already. They don't have any tools. And then just when I said that, I'm like, why are they fucking going there? What are they going to cut through the ice with their teeth or something? I don't know. And their little ice picks, it would take them. They would freeze before they get to wherever they're going. But no, they brought explosives. Just then, another explosion. That's it. Another explosion. I'm like, thank you. I like your number of explosions. And so then, you know,
They find
the alien spaceship. So they are, in fact, aliens. They're not like dinosaurs that were hiding under the, just frozen in ice and stuff. They have
Global
been
warming.
here. But they have been here the whole time. But
1,000
they're
years,
also
yeah.
aliens.
Yeah.
And then the film turns into another film.
Aliens.
The film turns into Alien / Prometheus because it was aliens for half a second, and then they go and then they realize, oh my God, this is cargo. No, it's weapons. And it's like so.
The
then
bad
there's
guys have been weapons the
so
whole
there's
time.
probably another. I didn't see if there was a space jockey. Did anybody see a space jockey? A second alien?
There was.
race?
He looked like a
I
demon.
fucking missed it.
Yeah, he
God
looked like
damn it.
a frozen demon-looking guy.
So then they do Prometheus, they do Aliens, and then they do. So they're doing Starship Troopers, Edge of Tomorrow, Aliens, Prometheus, all of them. So then they see sacks of them, right? There's like 4 on this side and 4 on this side. So they do their injection. I'm sorry. A few of the second squad of badasses that does a bunch of tours come by and say these is as
And the
much as we
future people.
can mass produce. And the future people.
Those are the future kids.
Yeah.
Those are all the future kids.
And they're like, we'll help you or whatever. I don't know how you did it. Okay, but anyways. So then they inject them.
4
and
of
they
them.
all fucking die. And they didn't realize that there's 4 more behind there, so they start to wiggle and they're like, oh, fuck. And they put more and they try to inject them, but some of them get out and they fucked up, so they got goddamn gunfire. And then as they're running from them and trying to find them, they realize there's a whole fucking chamber with tons
Hundreds
and
and hundreds
more.
of hundreds of them.
I'm like, this is the worst fucking plan ever. Because once they find the ship, they're like, okay, let's take some pictures and we can go to the UN. And everybody's like, no, there's a terrible idea. We're going to do this right now ourselves. Which you could fucking literally start the film. I thought that they were going to do the full circle thing where it's like they were actually released. He actually released them, and that's why he left the family, because he was so fucking distraught over what he had done. And but it doesn't go that direction.
Nope.
No, instead it goes the everything is fine direction. These team of school bus and scientists are expert shots and can shoot all of the goddamn
Well,
thing.
they brought enough C4 that even though they spend the entire first 90 minutes of this movie making a virus, they kill all of the aliens with explosives. The toxin does not matter. It doesn't matter.
You're right.
There's only one living thing.
It's just one additional weapon that they can use against.
They use guns. They use punches.
And they use a little bit of toxin.
Power word kill. He tells that thing to die and it dies.
But before we get there, they do a Vasquez. So one guy's like, if I'm gonna die, I'll die like this, and then this other girl's like, I'm gonna take him out, and they do it. You like that? You like that? You know, but the guy doesn't say you like that. And then they blow themselves up and the whole thing blows up. So all the future, so that's right. So all the future kids blow themselves up.
We only saw one future kid blow himself up.
Right.
Like there was dozens of them that came.
Right. Did all of the future people go to wrap that plot line up? I bet you in the movie logic they said, no, all the future kids went.
Don't forget about him.
Okay, anyway.
Don't think about this movie because it's stupid.
So Grandpa and the talkie guy apparently, and our hero, Chris Pratt, all make it out.
Yeah.
And they're trying to fight the stragglers. So Grandpa
One
and
got
talkie
out.
guy are fighting stragglers. They're shooting. And then it's like, God damn it. And the grandpa's a badass. He kills a bunch of them. But one gets through. And he's like, where is the talkie guy that hides all the time? He finally gets the courage. And he uses a saw blade just as it jumps into him and kills it. And again, Starship Troopers, you remember that? You like that guy? You like that guy?
Yeah.
Comes back with, gets all the juices thrown all over him. But another one gets away, the red-bellied one, and they go after it, and they do this clever thing where they trick it. It attacks like their jacket and shit, and then they shoot it from far away. I was like, this is fucking smart. But no, movie can't end like that.
Nope.
Instead, it's got to come screaming after Grandpa, who's a good shot, and then they use and then it turns into Mission Impossible. They use a fucking snow. It's gonna kill his grandpa or his dad at the last second. A snowmobile crashes in while he comes off and firing his gun and all this.
He does the superhero landing and everything.
Wait, before he does the superhero landing, everything freeze frames, and he turns to the camera and he says, "This just got a whole lot more impossible."
Yeah.
If anybody remembers that joke, you're way too old.
Yeah.
You're old like we are. Yeah. Anyways, so then the snowmobile crashes, and then it crashes, and then they shoot it, and it looks like they shoot it off the cliff, but no, it disappears, and they said, "It's not dead. Back to back."
S to S.
And I'm like, this is exactly how I would have written the movie like 20 years ago. Back to back. You know, and then they go back to father and son. And I was like, this is...
You gotta have that team up.
And they can't see anything because it's all fucking snowing. And then I'm like, what am I watching? And this is like a whole movie onto another movie. It was another 3 acts after 3 acts.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, and then they do this thing where it's last minute saves over and over and over. He's going to die. No, his dad is going to die by cutting his hand and attracting her. And she jumps in. But again, no, at the last second, he mounts her and rides her and cuts its neck. And then, no, it turns around and it's going to fight Pratt again. And then he punches it and shit and they fight more. And then he fucking gets, I don't know, what was it? The claw?
Yeah, the claw from the other dude. He goes full
His
Liam
hand
Neeson.
would've
And he tries to, and she bites his hand,
Yeah.
but I thought it was a different tool, special tool with blades on both ends because she couldn't bite down.
His hand would have been gone.
Yeah.
His hand would have. She would have ripped. His
Oh,
hand
at that
right
time, he pulls one of her spikes out of his leg because she shoots him in the leg, and so there is some on
okay.
both sides.
Some
and so
on
when
both
she goes to bite, the
Very
thing
clever.
stabs through her one eye. Grandpa comes out of nowhere with an ice pick and rips out the other eye.
Yeah.
And so now it's blind, shooting spikes in all directions.
Yeah, and so it's like, whoa, Grandpa doesn't die. They're fucking total badasses, and they conquer it, and
they use the poison,
They
Alex.
finally used the poison, but it was already dead. All they had to do was shoot it, and it was going to die.
yeah. So Alex was right. It's kind of pointless on that. And then the government takes all the credit on TV. The very next scene is him taking the trash out, or him taking the trash in, and the government takes credit. I kept saying like, wow, this film does not end.
It just keeps going.
It just keeps going. And then right at the end when they all fall, and they do a really unfunny joke. I was like, darn, man, that sucks. I could have done. Did you tell it to die? Why didn't you tell it to die sooner? And then the talkie guy falls in. And he's like, "Oh, I'm tired." I don't know what he's saying. Anyways, so then Grandpa comes home. Grandpa meets the daughter. He's like, "I want you to meet someone special." My dad. We're now friends again. And it's because again, the film does not end. He keeps going.
And then
there's and then there's a voiceover. "I'll never leave this family. My best future was always in front of me. Terrible melodrama that rings hollow and makes no sense." Kind of thing. It really was cringe right there at the end. And
but
this
he can't mess
writer,
up the plan, though.
the writer was so self-indulgent. But you need those kinds of outrageousness. He just needed someone else to be like, "Okay, that's great. Let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. Let's cut it down here and get it nice and succinct." But it was a mess. But you know what?
It was a fun mess.
I liked it. It was
Look,
a fun mess.
I called it stupid maybe a million times.
Yes.
It was still a fun action movie.
Yeah.
And if you want a really stupid action movie, watch this one. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
But it is
It really
stupid.
should have ended sooner, but yeah,
Shit.
jeez,
Another
that doesn't
hour
really
review.
matter anymore, does it?
maybe
the
I'll
whole-
break it into
Nothing
The
matters.
whole virus didn't matter.
Nothing matters. But no.
Explosion.
Let's think about it. It can melt them, but it really only melt individual ones. If you would have just if they had brought enough C4,
They did.
They would have.
They blew
Oh,
up
that's
the
right.
whole
Well,
bomb.
they used all their C4 to get to it.
Well, they could have.
No, they used the C4 to blow up literally every one but 3.
Oh shit! I forgot. They could have just C4'd it immediately without disturbing
And
them
then
and waking
leaving.
them, and then fucking left.
The virus toxin didn't matter at all. Not the whole first
film didn't
2/3
matter.
of the movie didn't matter at all.
Okay, now I see what he's saying.
Well, now you know they were somewhere up north.
But hey, Alex, that's perfect information, and they were just going with the flow, man. Got to do what we got to do.
They had some of the world's best scientists with them. Like, seriously, he's like one of the world's best.
Why don't we just do it this way?
Hey, let's not wake them up with the whole screaming and the whole injecting with toxin. Let's just blow their asses up.
It wouldn't have been, I guess, as entertaining. They wouldn't have been able to have their second sequel built into the film. You're right. So, okay. Anyways, that's it, guys. We ran long. Maybe I'll break it into 2 different videos, a spoiler section and a review.
That was it.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.